There has been a lot of drama at our rehab center this year. Now, I know there's always lots of drama on this show, but this particular season, well, there's been more tears than we've ever seen. There's also been more vomit,
more scraping, more breaking, more bashing, more cracking, more snapping, more spraying, more yelling, and way more crashing than we've ever seen.
No wonder there's been so many tears. And at the end of this episode, there might be a whole lot more crying, because we will be naming the 3 finalists for our unwanted title. Our unwanted title of Canada's worst driver.
The remaining nominees for Canada's Worst Driver are from Ottawa, fashionista and new driver, Lance was nominated by his best friend, Gilles. On his feet, Lance is dapper, well put together, and really happy. Behind the wheel, though, it's a different story. He hyperventilates, and he damages things. Lance has to drive, or he'd have to walk his 92-year-old grandmother to church. In St. Catharines, Ontario, the driving of Dale makes her nephew jumpy. Meet John.
Stop signs to Dale are stoptional.
Dale doesn't believe in rules of the road.
It's a car, you get in it and you drive, and then you make up your own rules and you go along, and somebody tries to stop you.
Most of Dale's family has tried to stop her from driving, but Dale has to drive. Because waiting for the bus just doesn't suit Dale's style. Our next nominee lives in a small maritime town. Jamie was nominated by her high school sweetheart, Eric, who knows almost how often Jamie has hit his truck.
I've probably done it at least a dozen times that he doesn't know about.
A few years ago, Jamie quit her job because she felt too dangerous driving to it.
Like, this sucks.
Jamie has to drive for her new employer, but bad driving might cost her this job, too.
Oh my God. Oh, I hope I don't get fired.
Living 15 minutes from the nearest convenience store isn't convenient for Brad, who was forced to quit driving 2 years ago by Donna, his wife.
This is the final straw that made us ban Brad from driving.
Donna recently suffered a debilitating shoulder injury, though, and now Brad has to drive.
Brad has to drive because my physical abilities are becoming less and less.
If Brad didn't drive, he'd have to walk 6 hours to get to work.
Knowing where your wheels are is a critical part of driving. So, for their next challenge, the nominees for Canada's Worst Driver will have to make their way along these concrete barriers without letting their wheels fall off.
We call this challenge the Trough. It's a 20-meter journey designed to test whether or not Canada's worst drivers have learned where their wheels are.
So now, once I get on the course, I can't really see anything. But I know
That when a car turns right, the front wheels don't make it as far to the right as the rear wheels do by the same point. So, to keep all wheels on this course, turns must be taken wide.
I am sliding, but I think I slid into position. That's what I needed to do, take the turn wide, and the course helped me out.
I'm driving slower than walking speed because
It certainly feels safer than driving fast on a course like this.
even at this speed, I'm on the edge of failure. But
Now that I'm here, I should just be able to drive. Yes. Off. The course looks easy, but it's actually pretty tricky. Now, let's see if Canada's worst drivers know where their wheels are.
Lance is up first.
Whoa, yeah.
Here at the rehab center, we pride ourselves on being able to get through to the most abysmal motorists in the country. But from the way Lance is driving, it looks as though we're not getting through to him. Whenever the vehicle has to get plucked off this course, or whenever a wheel accidentally hits the ground, the driver has to start again. Lance can't make his rear wheels follow the same path as his front wheels.
When you turn, do the back wheels follow the front wheels? Yeah. No.
Lance should know this. Trying to park his own car on the day we met him,
Check your side, check your side, check your side.
Lance got his front wheels past a pillar, but not the back wheels. To make Lance understand, I put a napkin on the ground, then show him what happens when I drive over it while turning.
I'm turning, bang, right of there, but look where the rear wheels go. Oh, we're close.
That's what Peter said.
We have 4 experts on staff here at the rehab center, and Peter Mellor is our head driving instructor. He's joined by psychologist Dr. Lauren Kennedy Smith, high-performance driving instructor Philippe Letourneau, and ex-highway cop Cam Woolley. In their cloistered bunker at the Dunnville, Ontario airport, our experts will watch this episode unfold.
Lance is letting go of the challenge again.
At the end, I'll join them to decide which nominee will graduate and who will be left in the running for this trophy as Canada's worst driver. Damn it!
Damn it!
We have a 1-hour time limit, and on Lance's last chance.
God!
Lance goes right off the rails.
What the is wrong with me?
When we come back, the rest of Canada's worst drivers go through this challenge.
I've got a lot of brains but no common sense.
To avoid a spot in our next and final episode, Canada's worst drivers are showing us if they know how to keep their wheels on track. Jamie is the next driver.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Before coming to rehab,
I'm scared.
Jamie was too scared to drive.
Oh, I don't like this.
Here, she is working through those fears.
You're just barely on in the back, but you still are on.
Okay.
And now you're not.
To slay her dragons of fear,
No.
Jamie must seize control.
So what do I do?
And control is a concept
I don't like it.
we're slowly getting Jamie to grasp.
Oh, look how far I've done.
What Jamie's done in rehab is build her confidence. Sure, she still gets afraid,
Like I'm like my wheels right on top.
but this type of situation used to make her want to quit. Now it just makes her more determined.
All right, I'm gonna do it this time.
On attempt number 3, Jamie goes a long way before getting precariously perched. Instead of bursting into tears, though, Jamie smartly backs up and regains full control of the situation.
Okay, I'm turning the wheel towards you. I'm going ahead.
She's almost there.
Oh my.
See? You did it.
Oh my god.
Jamie knows where her wheels are.
I passed. Oh, it was so hard though.
Donna has an injured shoulder. And if Brad drives off our course, she'll go kabonk.
Oh. And I can ride with him if you want.
Absolutely.
Brad drives this course like it was a normal road. If his destination was the ditch, every time Brad drives, he drops a wheel in the ditch.
No.
And he doesn't know why. Why is Brad going off the deep end?
He meant to do that.
In rehab, Donna is learning to be positive.
There's that spot!
And eventually, I'm sure it will help. But for now, Brad might have broken the Jeep.
Jeep's be the second one he's broke, so. Yeah, he flipped ours. Barrel rolled it down the road into a ditch.
I don't know what the hell is going wrong, man.
On Brad's final run, he stays on track all the way to the end.
Make it happen, Brad. You're there, buddy.
Well, almost all the way to the end.
So close.
Brad doesn't quite know where his wheels are.
Brad, come on. You've been doing so good. Okay? Do you know how far you've come? Hey? Bug.
Dale is hot. But she's not as hot as John.
Great back. You alright?
No.
John and Dale both need to be rescued. While John gets assistance, the wheel location lesson educates Dale.
The front wheel hits the rock, the back wheel not even close. See where the back wheel is?
Just far from it.
Dale now knows that the rear wheels cut corners sharper.
Coming off again.
But Dale doesn't know how to process that information.
It's not brain surgery. I've got a lot of brains but no common sense, so I've been told.
Whoa, she's dangerous.
Dale is too dangerous to leave rehab. But she doesn't understand why she can't leave.
Are your wheels off on this side?
They're on the pavement.
And on this side?
They're on the pavement.
Okay, let's go back up. Do you think it's possible that they're not on the pavement?
Good.
Dale is done at 5 p.m.
Probably by 9 o'clock tonight, I'll probably go to the conference.
Ooh, hello, Fasty McFast Pants.
When we come back,
Oh, don't worry about it.
Seriously, you're like really annoying me.
we play car soccer.
Scored again.
We did it.
And Canada's worst drivers learn that texting and driving is more dangerous than drinking and driving.
Which is common sense.
Dale would never drink and drive. But
Hi. How you doing?
she illegally talks on her cell phone and drives. And Lance sends 50K an hour text messages.
Just because I text while driving doesn't make me Canada's worst driver.
It does make Lance dangerous. In fact, texting and driving is more dangerous than drinking and driving.
And all of you texting me like this, remember, the drinking and driving kills 1,200 Canadians a year.
That's a sobering fact provided by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Now, I should also tell you that... I should also tell you that this is just cranberry juice, and, well, you really shouldn't drink that while driving either. Or text.
And now, a demonstration on the dangers of mixing cell phones and driving. Dale has had cell phone driving accidents.
The garage door was down and you drove through it.
Yeah.
Through it?
Yeah.
Because you were on your cell phone.
Yeah. Because I wasn't paying attention. And that's not good.
Even though Dale once drove through her own garage door,
I just learned how to text. Oh, sure.
Dale did not stop using her cell phone while driving.
Oh, yeah, right.
This is a habit Dale has to put on hold.
I can't talk anymore. I gotta focus on my driving.
Goodbye, Dale.
Bye, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my God. Ah!
Killed him. And you wonder why talking on the cell phone is illegal.
Holy mackerel, that is a good demonstration.
On the phone, Dale has hit things without knowing it.
I have. I hit my husband's car one time and I didn't know it.
Jamie's from the only province where you can cell phone and drive. But this New Brunswicker still doesn't do it.
You can't text. This is a good plan.
Jamie agrees to try sending a text.
I don't text when I'm driving.
I'm sorry.
And this is why.
A lot of people do. That's what texting and driving can do.
Holy sh...
Don't text and drive. The texts never make any sense anyways.
I am not Canada's Warza's driver.
Brad will help us compare the difference between the dangers of texting and driving
God, you don't even have time, man.
versus the dangers of applying lipstick while driving. It's hardly scientific, but the results are in.
This is the #1 problem right here.
Lance likes to cell phone talk, eat, and drink while driving. To show Lance how dangerous his habits are, we give him a drink and some food. But Lance just treats this demonstration like it's a joke. So, there's no need to watch this.
Jeez, who's the judge?
To teach children focus and motor skills, it's good to have them chase a ball. So, we figured to teach Canada's worst drivers focus and motor skills, we should have them chase a ball.
We call this challenge Canada's Worst Cup. And the goal is simple. Put the ball into the goal. This sporting challenge will teach car handling and demonstrate our driver's finesse.
Now, the ball is allowed to hit the defenders, but the car is not. And
to score a goal, the car cannot at any time cross this line. If it does, the goal won't count.
now, let's see how Canada's worst drivers do.
Striker Dale has 15 minutes to score as many goals as possible.
I could do this without the ball in a second.
With the ball,
Go on, little ball. Go on.
Dale is chatty,
Come on, ball.
and she's getting a little ahead of herself.
Wait, let the ball pass you.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Dale eventually gets lined up for a shot.
Stay there.
Go. There, stop. Oh, it's gonna hit the post.
Oh, no.
When a ball goes out of play, there's always a new one waiting at center.
Oh, no, you don't. Come on, ball. You don't like me.
Using charm and sweet talk.
Come on, ball. Cooperate. You love me.
That's it.
Dale shoots, and Dale scores. Thanks to good coaching,
There it is. Stay like that.
Dale leaves a score to beat of 8 goals.
Stop. You scored again.
You did it.
For Dale. This is already a victory because
I didn't hit anybody. I've never hit anybody in my life.
Except your daughter.
Oh, pardon me, yeah.
Rookie player Lance is next on the field. Lance picked up the sport of driving late in life, not getting his full license until age 26.
Oh.
Lance doesn't have good hand-eye coordination. And he hits Canada's worst goalie with the ball more often than he hits the back of the net.
Oh, man!
Lance only manages 4 goals.
You're kidding me, man.
Winger Brad feels like he has home field advantage on this flat land. But on his drive to win,
Hello, Fasty McFast Pants.
Brad goes too fast.
Son of a...
That speed causes bad ball handling,
Now it's trickster time.
dangerous driving, and a lot of badly aimed shots.
Oh,
Then with 4 minutes left, Brad's overexcited speeding causes an injury.
Oh, guys!
Sorry.
Injuries caused by driving come with a serious penalty. Jamie is defensive on the driving field. But today,
Hit it with that corner.
Eric, be quiet, please.
Jamie is demanding control.
Go.
I am. Can you be, like, patient?
And she isn't asking questions.
Back up and go.
I know, Eric. Can you stop rushing me?
Slowing
You're
right down.
really actually bugging me? You're driving me crazy.
Jamie ties for the win. And she doesn't want any more coaching.
Sometimes he talks too much, and it kind of just gets on my nerves, and I just want him to shut up. I am so scared right now. Oh.
When we come back, Canada's worst drivers learn how to do a forward 180 skid using a handbrake.
Up. 360.
Sometimes it's hard to believe what you see. A car driving in a straight line turns around in a controlled skid without leaving its own lane. How does this happen? Canada's worst drivers are about to find out.
So nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you. How's it going?
Not bad, brother.
Yeah. Ready for more training?
I'm absolutely ecstatic.
The spinning maneuver the bad drivers will get trained to do is called a
J-turn. Forward and brake 180.
A J turn.
J-turn.
Is that like half a U-turn?
no. A J-turn is more like a U-turn on steroids.
Okay.
Okay, J-turn. We obviously don't want you to do this on public road.
Right.
But again, it's to show you car control.
And the physics of transferring weight. And that weight transfer starts when the driver releases the gas pedal.
You let go the gas, you slow down, but you also physically shift
Go
weight
forward also.
forward. That's correct.
Philippe gets the car to maintain 50k an hour, then abruptly lets off the gas pedal.
Quarter turn, half a turn. And I'm out of here.
The quarter turn pushes the car out. The half turn back in shifts momentum so violently, the front end bites into the pavement and the rear end begins to swing. Pulling the handbrake at this moment reduces traction so much, the back end begins to slide.
What do you think happened when I pull on this?
What do you think happens? Does the handbrake lock? The front wheels? Or the rear wheels?
It's gonna actually lock up the rear wheels, and it's gonna help the car to spin.
Why can't I just use the brake that's...
Because that basically will slow down mainly the front wheels.
Slowing the front wheels wouldn't allow the front end to pivot. That's why, for this challenge, the foot brake must never be touched.
Let's go.
On Lance's first attempt at a J-turn,
Right, left.
he does it!
Oh my God.
Jamie also quickly learns the process.
Right, left, pull. Here we go.
I did it.
Wow.
Brad doesn't do a J-turn right away. He consistently oversteers.
Almost.
Almost.
After 20 minutes of oversteering,
We're getting there.
Brad gets the subtleties of this intense maneuver.
Right, left, pull. Here we go. Get out of here.
Every time Dale tries the handbrake skid,
Let go to gas.
she hits the foot brake.
No brake for this.
Oh, the brake.
Not that brake. Just this one. Okay?
Oh, my brake.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's
yeah.
a habit. That is a bad habit.
A habit Dale can't break. Thanks to persistence, though,
We're getting there.
Dale finally gets the hang of this.
Get out of here. Floor it.
Did it?
Huh?
I did it? I did it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
For the challenge, drivers will have to head down this laneway at 50k an hour. When they get to the frightened face of their nominator, they have to do a J-turn around that face before heading back out.
And they'll be doing this challenge in our brand new Camaro. You know you love it.
This Camaro was smoking hot. But since rehab opened this year, our most smoking car has been involved in 6 driving challenges. And that has resulted in more cosmetic damage than we could have possibly seen coming.
Hand on the handbrake, hand on the steering wheel, and go. There's 60.
I maintain 60 going through the white markers. Then,
Yeah, baby, just like that. Drop it in and get me the hell out of here.
Canada's worst drivers learned how to do that.
Now, let's see if Canada's worst drivers know how to do it.
Jamie's confidence has grown, but
I am so scared right now. I froze.
lots of fail. So's this. And this.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
You okay?
Drivers will get 7 chances at this.
And I'm 16. Okay, and
on the normal brakes again.
I know.
Jamie knows what to do.
Turn.
But she can't stop hitting the brakes.
And I did it again.
On her final run, Jamie doesn't hit the foot brake, but she pulls the e-brake too soon and loses control.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Jamie thinks she'll be in our final episode.
Well, the good news is you're up against some phenomenally bad drivers. Maybe you will graduate.
That's true.
Brad is up next.
For this particular challenge, because Donna's got a bad shoulder, Andrew's going to be the nominator.
And I have a good idea. Practice runs.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Up, 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 up. 360.
Brad's mistake was instinctively hitting the brakes. But he's such a bad driver, he hit the gas pedal instead of the brake, causing an almost complete 360. On his next practice run, instead of pulling the handbrake, Brad yanks on the gear shifter.
Stop, 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 stop.
Let's just do some dry runs.
That's it. Sorry, I'm driving, and then boom, boom, boom. You got it. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
The hardest part of this challenge is remembering to not hit the foot brake.
40, 50. You're at 60. You're going too fast. Do it, do it, do it. Yes, yes, boom. You braked, man. I did. Get your foot away from the brake.
Breaking Brad's failing streak has become my mission.
20, 30, 40. You're almost there. You're at 50. You're almost there. You're at 60. Maintain. You're at 60.
Andrew's helping too much. He's pulling out the speeds.
1, 2, pull, pull, pull.
Ah, again, that brake.
I think Andrew's crossed the line here. He's not just supporting him. He's telling him what to do. He's doing the thinking.
On run number 3, I think Brad will do it.
60. You're there. That's it. That's it, Brad. Get us out of here, brother.
Brad is victorious.
Well, I'm not going to count that as a victory. Andrew did a lot of the work there.
When we come back, we'll see if Dale and Lance can do a full skidding 180.
Man, holy sh!
Canada's worst drivers are showing us that they've learned how to control a skidding J-turn. But here at the Driver Rehabilitation Center, rain has moved in.
Hydroplaning is when your car skips across water, kind of the same way you can make a stone skip across water. For your vehicle to hydroplane, though, you must be going 70 an hour or over. So, if you're driving in a thunderstorm and you want to live, please slow down, or you may as well just get out and put a golf club up over your head.
Lance will try the maneuver next.
Do you know what hydroplaning is? Hydroplaning is when you're going at a
accelerated speed and you're driving on top of water, hydro.
Correct. 60 and under, you will not hydroplane. Not physically possible. 70 and over, absolutely possible.
On wet pavement, this J-turn challenge can be done at 50. And to do it correctly, Lance has to jerk the car wide, then cut back, then rip the handbrake while the car is still unbalanced. But Lance hits the foot brake and pulls the handbrake before he makes his second turn.
If you see damaged corn in the supermarket this year, you probably know where it came from.
When the downpour subsides, I remind Lance of the obvious.
Remember to not put your foot on the foot brake, right?
Right, yeah. Okay, perfect.
Let's hope for the best.
Alas, the best is yet to come.
Whenever you're ready. He's ready, but I doubt he's gonna make it. Check it out with me now.
This time, at the moment of truth, Lance tenses up and pulses on the gas. Then hits the brake, then hits the gas, and hits the brake again.
You could hear the vroom.
Even though he accelerated, Lance thinks he just hit the brake.
I pushed the brake again.
If you really pushed the brake hard, I really don't think you would have wound up 30 meters into a cornfield.
No, you're right. It's a good point.
What can you say?
You could say this is getting repetitive.
Ah, man! Holy!
You hit the brake. We're gonna have to pay extra to the corn farmers.
On run number 4, Lance does the maneuver correctly, but late.
That is a good news story, though. That's an almost.
Then that becomes repetitive. On Lance's final run, he can't find the handbrake.
You know what I forgot? Keep my hand on the brake.
Lance might be one of our finalists.
Do you think you're one of those people?
No. I don't think I'm one of them. Can't. I don't know.
Dale wants to see Philippe do the maneuver on wet pavement.
Word.
Good?
Yeah.
See? It's easier. You can do this, Dale, right? I don't have a really good feeling about this.
Dale gets going, but she never gets to speed, and she can't even drive safely through the laneway. Run number 2 is the same, only different.
You didn't pull the e-brake. You slammed on the brakes again.
Ow!
When I first met Dale,
You hit the brake again.
I thought she would be in our final episode.
Not the brake.
And I still don't think that hunch is out in left field.
Oh!
But Dale is out in a cornfield.
Yeah, it's a fail.
Perhaps our teachers just aren't on Dale's level.
Would a driving instructor actually teach you these kind of things?
Advanced driving classes.
In advanced driving classes. So maybe I should take advanced driving.
Well,
it might be beneficial.
Or stop driving altogether.
No.
Dale knows why she's not learning more.
I gotta go to boot camp. I didn't know.
You're in boot camp. You're in rehab right now.
I know, but I need to go to advanced.
When we come back, everyone worries about becoming Canada's worst driver.
Yes, you think you might be?
Yes.
Canada's worst driver.
Yes.
With only one episode to go before we name Canada's worst driver, the remaining candidates are all hoping they graduate tonight. Two things are certain. Dale won't graduate.
Do you deserve to graduate this episode?
No.
And Lance also won't graduate.
No, I know. I'm just getting really frustrated.
Jamie, though, might not be Canada's worst driver.
I think if I'm put in this situation, I'll be able to calm myself down, and I think I have the skills now that I know what I should do.
Given the intensity of the challenges in rehab, I think you are one of the candidates who handles pressure better than most.
Oh, wow.
But is Jamie better than Brad?
I always felt Brad was kind of like, he was like here and I was like there.
Brad also believes he rates higher as a driver than Jamie.
Do you think you're going to be in the finals based on what happened this episode?
I think I'll be doing quite well, actually.
Brad did well on the J-turn challenge.
Pull. That's it, Brad. Get us out of here, brother.
Thanks to my constant coaching.
Here's where I screwed up. I wasn't supposed to give extra training or allow for practice.
Oh.
I guess my question is, would you have got it if I wasn't there?
I guess maybe in that instance, probably not then.
Honest man. Brad and Jamie. I'll just jump to it. Cam, who do you think should graduate?
These two are running neck and neck now.
Jamie passed the Know Where Your Wheels Are challenge, but failed the handbrake turn.
You're on the normal brakes again.
I know.
Brad failed the Know Where Your Wheels Are challenge, but he passed the handbrake turn.
I know how to drive.
So, which driver should be our final graduate?
Brad should graduate.
Brad? Philippe?
From those two, even though it's very close, I think Brad deserves to graduate this one.
Doctor?
Jamie has learned an enormous amount, and her self-confidence has soared. She's almost transformed as a driver, so I will nominate Jamie to graduate.
Peter agrees.
If you look at the Know Where Your Wheels Are exercise, that's the important real-life situation. That one really showed that Jamie's learned an awful lot.
That's 2 votes for Jamie and 2 votes for Brad.
Well, it should come as no surprise that I agree with half of you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Well, we've reached the end of our second last episode here on Canada's Worst Driver,
Season 6.
Next episode, whoever doesn't graduate now will have to drive through a major Canadian city at rush hour with me.
So, who will my 3 chauffeurs be? Well, it will not be the person who's about to get their license back. And that person is... you, Jamie.
Oh my god. I am shocked. Wow.
Before coming to rehab, getting behind the wheel sent Jamie into convulsions.
I don't think I'm, like, emotionally stable enough to be behind a wheel.
In rehab,
Which way?
Jamie didn't know which way to go.
Which way? Which way am I turning? Ooh.
Or what to do.
What do I do? What would you do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What am I supposed to do?
She was supposed to take control of the vehicle herself.
Oh my god!
And eventually, she turned in that direction.
Steer, steer, steer.
I did it.
Throughout rehab,
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Jamie's confidence continued to grow. Now, instead of wanting help, Jamie wants total control of the vehicle.
Wow. You did it, Jamie.
That takes skill.
Which you now have.
Thank you very much.
She'll be able to go places and do stuff on her own now, so it'll help.
Before, my confidence was here, and now I'm, like, here. I just feel comfortable in a car.
Give all our best to your son, hey?
I will. I will. Thank you.
Join us next time when we will name Canada's worst driver. On the final episode of Canada's Worst Driver, Season 6. Our annual Mega Challenge draws blood. And on our final public road test, someone leaves in an ambulance. When it's all said and done, someone will be named Canada's Worst Driver.